And now in my schedule, I have the second topic. I hope that Professor Xu is with us now. Is Professor Xu with us? The topic would be the characterization of breast lesion by contrast enhanced ultrasound.
Okay, I'm Dr. Xu from Shanghai, and it's my great honor to give a presentation here. The topic of mine is contrast enhanced ultrasound in characterization of breast lesions. So, firstly, background, and this the breast autonomy. We can see this is the breast tissue, and from the superficial from superficial to deep side, we can see the skin, the adipose tissue, and the breast, and the muscle, and when we perform the breast ultrasound, we should also notice the lymphatic drainage of the breast, so we can see a lot of lymph node group around the breast. As CUS, we must know the blood supply of the breast. We can see that the arterial blood supply of the breast is relatively inadequate, and it very widely, and it shows local enrichment, and it will change dynamically with the mesenteric cycles, and the blood supply is few in menopause. And we can see several supplying blood supply vessel around the breast, and these factors should be taken into consideration when performing CUS of breast. And breast cancer is the leading cancer type in women, and it accounts for nearly 30% of leukemia cases in women. And types of breast disease include benign and malignant lesions. The benign lesions include benign epithelial lesions, fibroid epithelial neoplasms, and papillary lesions. And the breast cancers include long-invasive breast cancer, invasive breast cancer, and mesenchymal tumor. The diagnosis of breast the modalities include palpation, ultrasound, mammography, MRI, and biopsy. And ultrasound is widely used in China for screening, diagnosis, and locating and follow-up of breast cancer patients. And standard is biopsy. The basic for breast CUS. So why we need CUS? It can evaluate the vascularity more clearly than conventional ultrasound. And the second, it can show the boundary of the breast lesion more carefully, and also it will allow us to see the exact size of the breast cancer. And also CUS provide quantitative analysis of the blood perfusion of the breast lesion. So indications for CUS in breast include differentiation between sick and solid tumors, differentiation between benign and malignant tumors, evaluation of adjuvant chemotherapy for breast cancer, and differentiation of suspicious axillary lymph node. For CUS, we always inject 2.4 millimeter of Soneview by airborne intravenous bolus injection, and a flash with 5 millimeters of saline solution is injected after the contrast administration. And after that, we always observe the dynamic process at least 3 minutes. The transducer frequency is about 4 to 9 minutes, and scanning is performed, and the low sticker power, that means the mechanical index is always less than 0.2. And also contrast specific mode is used. So how to interpret the image of the breast CUS images? Firstly, the qualitative parameters. First, the contrast arrival time. First, we should compare the contrast arrival time of the in the lesion and comparison with the surrounding breast tissue. So the contrast arrival time can be divided into quicker enhancement or simultaneous enhancement or slower enhancement. For example, this is the lesion surrounding breast tissue, and this lesion show a quicker contrast arrival time. And then the second is the enhancement degree, and the enhancement degree is also compared with the surrounding breast lesion, breast tissue, and this is hyper enhancement, and this is iso enhancement, and this type. This is a breast B mode ultrasound. And we can see that this lesion shows enlarged enhanced area on stress. So this type is enlarged enhanced area, and this lesion, this is the lesion on B mode, and this is the US image of the same lesion. We can see that there is no enlargement of the enhanced area. So this is not enhanced area. And we also should observe the internal homogeneous enhancement. For example, this lesion showed homogeneous enhancement, and this lesion showed a heterogeneous enhancement. Sometimes we can also observe the penetrating vessels in the lesion or around the lesion. For example, we can see some large penetrating vessels in lesion. This is also a twister penetrating. And sometimes we perform continuous analysis of the CUS peak enhancement, washing slope. From this point to this point, we can see the washing slope, and we can also measure the washing and the time to peak and also calculate the area and the vascular phases for breast CUS is generally divided into two phases. First is early phase. It is less than 30 seconds after the contrast administration, and the other is the late phase. It starts 30 to end at 120 seconds after contrast. So, how to diagnose these breast lesions? So this CUS patterns for benign breast lesions. The first is rapid washing with hyper enhancement and clean with enlarged lesion. The second is simultaneously enhancement and high ISO enhancement, and also there is the low difference in margin and shape after enhancement. Type for benign lesions is similarly or washing with hypo enhancement. And this is the three major enhancement patterns for benign lesions. These are serious patterns for that the lesion show hyper enhancement, and also we can see enhancement area and the lesion, and the second is inhomogeneous. You can see perfusion defect with or without enlarged enhancement, and the third pattern we can see that some others in or surrounding the lesions, and this is the most common enhancement pattern for malignant breast lesions. You can also see that this is and we see that enhancement errors, and we can test lesion vessels, and also on TIC of peak and high intensity. You see the contrast flow. Generally, ISO enhancement. So this is a typical enhancement pattern for benign lesions. And okay, this is another case of adenosis. You can see a lesion here, and it showed a lesion showed more on the ultrasound elastography. On CUS, it showed this is image after 20 minutes, 20 seconds after contrast administration, and this is the image 40 seconds after contrast administration. We can see that the same surrounding breast tissue. And let's have a look of the dynamic enhancement process. Very slow. So this lesion also shows a high ISO enhancement. And we cannot see the margin of the lesion on US. This is a third case. It is intraductal papillary carcinoma. A patient is 43 years old, and she can feel a palpable mass in left breast, and it was classified as BRAF 4B, and we can see imaging. The Doppler flow of the image of the lesion. You can see the lesion is here. And this is the CUS of the lesion. It shows very strong enhancement of lesion. An early enhancement in connection with the surrounding breast tissue. And we can also see the enhanced area is larger than the ultrasound. Okay, this is the fourth case. Is also intraductal papillary carcinoma. The patient found a papillary mass in the left breast, and it is also classified as BRAF 4B. It's a B-model image of the patient, and this is the color Doppler flow of the. We can see the coral and white shape of this thing, and this is the image of this. This simple enhancement, and we can see some long enhanced areas in the lesion. So maybe this is the doctor of the dilation, so it did not show enhancement this area. And this is another case of intraductal papillary carcinoma. This patient had a mass in left breast without pain for 2 years without treatment. So this time the ultrasound shows it is classified as BRAF 4A. So patient was referred for further diagnosis and treatment. And this shows a enlarged not so without washout. So we can see clearly here the enhancement of the lesion, and also in that area. So for these small lesions, high-grade carcinoma in situ, we need further investigation. Okay, this is adenosis with focal infiltrative IDC. This patient found a papillary mass in breast. It was classified as BRAF 4B. You can see this is the lesion. So on color Doppler imaging, we can see some blood flow in the lesion. some tortoise versus so this is a CUS image of the patient. Here we can see the lesion. Some tortuous vessels, twisted vessels, and enlarged in the area. And this is another case of invasive ductal carcinoma. The bimodal imaging and the ultrasound elastography of the image. 20 seconds after contact and 20 seconds after contact. Yeah, we are clearly reaching the vessels, the areas of enhanced enlarged areas. This is the final cases of presentation. This is mucinous carcinoma. The patient found a papillary mass in right breast without pain, and it is classified as virus 4B. We can see the lesion shows the fluid blood flow. Ultrasound elastograph slightly increased stiffness. The serial image 20 seconds after enhancement and 70 seconds after enhancement. We can also show this lesion shows hyper-enhancement. And some vessels surrounding the lesion. Another aspect we will talk about the quantification of CUS in breast sample. Some parametric CUS are widely used, and this is a type of quantitative software. You can show the enhancement of the lesion and the surrounding tissue by color coding. This red map shows that the lesion enhanced earlier than the surrounding breast tissue. And also we can obtain some quantitative parameters, including expected lifetime and time to peak, mean transit time. And for example, this lesion, we can show the time intensive curve for lesion, and we can also obtain some parameters. And in this study, we can find that the rest time is associated with histological grade and CRB2 status of invasive ductal carcinoma. And also time to peak is associated with the histological grade of IDC. So maybe the quantitative CUS parameters is associated with some prognostic factors. This slide shows that maximum intensity is associated with the ER and PR status of infiltrative ductal carcinoma. And quantitative CUS may be used for an objective method in predicting pathological prognostic factors in breast carcinomas. However, I think it is at a very preliminary stage. We cannot get any conclusion about the use of quantitative CUS. So, how about the diagnostic performance of CUS in breast? So, EFSON guideline was released 2013. It concluded that CUS has been used to estimate tumor size in invasive duct cancer, which in turn predict regional lymph node metastasis. And some authors also tried to use CUS to predict sentinel lymph node metastasis. However, no specific pattern indicating malignancy has been identified. And although breast CUS is an important research topic, it cannot be recommended for routine clinical use. So in this guideline, the recommendation for CUS in breast is that CUS for characterization of breast lesion is an active research field. But at present, it cannot be recommended for clinical use. It contains strong consensus of all 20 panel members of this guideline. So I think there are many unanswered questions for breast CUS. First, the exact diagnosis criteria for what is the exact role in clinical workup. So it will change or not the BRAS or not. The role in centimeter is also the comparison study between CUS and other modalities such as MRI and mammography, and it should also be carried out in future studies. So thank you very much for your attention. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Su, for your presentation. And I have some questions for you derived from the box of the question. And the first question is, what is the frequency you use to perform contrast-enhanced ultrasound in the breast?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I mean, there is probably one frequency range for baseline ultrasound and another frequency range for contrast-enhanced ultrasound, because this is based on the resonant frequency of the soluble microbubble, isn't it? Is it right?
Yeah, yes, the transducer frequency is range is from 4 to 9 megahertz in our study.
Is it? What do you think? Because actually, the resonance frequency of soluble microbubble is around 2.4, 2.6 megahertz. That's the reason why we usually use the convex abdominal transducer for the abdominal ultrasound, and in the superficial tissue, we tend to lower a little bit the frequency range just to be over the right resonant frequency of soluble. Do you think it's a little bit high for megahertz comparison to the resonant frequency of soluble? What do you think?
Yeah, I think for breast CUS, there are many frequencies available. For B mode, the frequency we also use the frequencies of 10 or 12 megahertz. And however, for CUS, we must lower the frequency because contrast agent will resonate in lower frequency, and the lower frequency will show remarkable enhancement.
Yes. And the following question is, if you should suggest the use of contrast-enhanced ultrasound to characterize a breast lesion. I mean, you see a breast lesion on ultrasound. In what case you strongly recommend the use of contrast-enhanced ultrasound? In every case, in some cases, never?
I think it's a very important question of you. It's also very useful for the beginners of this in CUS. In China, maybe many doctors will refer to breast CUS for characterization of breast lesions. In other countries, Western countries, breast CUS is not widely recommended. In my opinion, in some special cases or under some special conditions, CUS might be useful. For example, the intraductal papillary lesions. When the patient have some blood or fluid discharge from the nipples, CUS may be useful to find if there is some hyper enhanced lesions in the dilated duct. In this case, the CUS is very useful. So in my clinical practice, we also recommend when the patient is suspicious of we recommend the patient for CUS. However, for some lesions that is rare, typical on B mode for breast malignancy, we do not recommend it for breast CUS. And another point is that CUS might be useful for evaluating the adjuvant therapy, near chemotherapy of the breast cancer. Maybe it is useful to predict the treatment response for the lesion. This point, maybe CUS is useful. So I think these 2 points maybe CUS is useful. How it is not recommend. It is not recommended. Thank you.
Okay, I think this is actually an evolving field because we have also to remind, I think it's very important that in Europe, the breast scan is actually a registered indication for contrast-enhanced ultrasound. So breast is a registered use for contrast-enhanced ultrasound and for sonar use. So I think it's very important to underline this topic. So thank you very much, Professor Xu,
Thank you.
for your presentation.
Thank you.